Every once in a while, you need to upgrade your car, right? I mean, if you've lived at least 10 years into your adult life, you've probably changed cars 3 or 4 times. Over my adult life, I think I've had more than a dozen vehicles, and I recently just got myself into a brand new 2020 Hyundai Kona. It's electric blue, and I love it. When I went in to buy the car, it was clear that there wasn't going to be a lot of negotiation on the price because things have changed, right? I mean, with the internet, we, the consumer, we know what the price of the car is. Unlike in the 80s and the 90s when salesmen got a bad name or everybody spent a different price on the car. Now, if that's on new cars, you might need to negotiate if it's a retail sale. But still, knowing when to negotiate is an important skill, and there's a twist in my message today to get you started right away on a different aspect of negotiation. So today in the ABCs of Leadership, we're on the letter N, which stands for negotiate. So there's two kinds of negotiation. One, negotiating with the price of the car, things like a car, or say the price of a class for your organization, or the price of, or maybe you're negotiating for a salary and benefits if you're getting a new job and so forth. The other kind of negotiation happens in your mind. To be an effective leader, you need to be able to make decisions and stick with them and not negotiate when that voice of doubt comes in and says, oh, you should do something different. I had a boss once who told me that he was going to back me up with a proposal that I had submitted to spend some of our budget dollars on a certain training program for our employees. I was very excited about this, acceptance of my proposal, and I immediately called the vendor, made the commitment, and the next week, like about 4 or 5 days later, my boss tells in a team meeting that he's going to end up giving these budget dollars to one of my colleagues for his proposal. And I said, well, what about my program? And he said he told everyone and me at the same time, I've changed my mind. So I wasn't about to argue with him in front of this, in a team meeting, but I was very disappointed because you see, it wasn't the first time that this had happened. And I've heard similar stories in my leadership classes, people who say that they can't depend on their boss to make decisions and stick with them or to make any decisions at all. Some people just don't make decisions because they're afraid of disappointing people, or think they don't have enough information. But I say when you make a commitment in your mind, don't allow the same mind to talk you out of it and do something else. Now, sometimes you'll have to break a promise, but if you can get really clear about the important need to stand firm, then your inner voice of doubt comes through, or when it comes through, and begins to tell you that you made a bad decision or why you should change your mind, do not negotiate. Treat your inner doubt like you would a 5-year-old who's asking you to make a bad choice. Be firm and say, no, I'm committed to doing this and I'm not going to negotiate. And your voice will quiet down. It will not continue to bother you about that. So maybe sometimes you'll make mistakes, but if you can simply own those mistakes and move on, you'll get better and better at making decisions and sticking with them. And it's a fantastic trait to have. Because when you're wishy-washy, indecisive, or flip-flop on your decisions, you're going to disappoint not only yourself, but the people who are counting on you to follow through.